Deans, faculty, colleagues, staff, students, trustees, honored guests, welcome to this celebration of the 156th anniversary of AUB's founding. We gather every year to pay tribute to those who, on December 3rd, 1866, began what was then the Syrian Protestant College and set it on the path to become the diverse, inclusive, and transformative seat of higher education and research excellence that it is today, our magnificent American University of Beirut. One thing that was true in 1866 and remained true today is that philanthropy remains a critical element of our impact and sustainability. From the original donors who made launching this university a reality to the generous thousands who support us today, whether via our highly successful fundraisers, individual gifts, grants, and scholarships from our partner foundations and supporting institutions, or through the many inspiring examples of empathy and humanity. These gifts allow us to bring the best and brightest students, the most diverse group of students in the region, here to undergo their own personal journey of self-transformation. To celebrate this long history of philanthropic support, AUB organized its first Giving Day on Founders Day in 2018. Today, we are again celebrating Giving Day at the same time as Founders Day. And while we gather here, our alumni and friends around the world are showing their support for this vital institution and our ongoing mission to serve all of the region, not just Lebanon, but Lebanon and the region. The last few years have seen us tackle some fundamental challenges, largely brought about by a concatenation of factors, but also by the need for the American University of Beirut, like other institutions of higher education, to meaningfully evolve in order to once more lead as one of the premier mission-oriented institutions of higher education in the world. This was the sacred charge that brought Daniel Bliss and his co-founders to launch the Syrian Protestant College in 1866, to create opportunities for a region that they saw as less fortunate, and to ensure that the men and the women of the region could ultimately control their own destinies. More than 150 years later, we brought that same charge, that same sense of responsibility and purpose forward once more. This year, we've embarked on founding a new twin campus in Paphos, Cyprus. We've named it the American University of Beirut Mediterraneo, and it will open its doors to new students in September 2023. The goal is not to repeat the highly successful model or experiment that enabled the American University of Beirut to sustain itself and to thrive in periods of great instability and difficulty in Lebanon and in the Levant. Rather, here we establish a newer model, one predicated on fully digesting the lessons we have learned over the last 156 years. We seek to create student, faculty, and staff mobility and connectivity as we engage in the transformation of higher education that has seen us serve lifelong learners who expect nothing less than a permanent relationship with their alma mater. You are going to see some of the students today embark on that permanent voyage of connectivity to their alma mater. That's why today we asked our students to speak, having carefully studied and selected which qualities of the university were most vital to preserve in order to ensure the sustainability, impact, and transformational influence of our university. The three leading essays were selected by our committee chaired by Dr. Rada Hashflayhan and composed of Drs. Daniel Asmar, Tanya Haddad, and Alain Daw. We're grateful to them for their wonderful service. Please give them a round of thanks. To the students, I'm going to apologize because Founders Day is always during the exam period, so forgive your classmates who will undoubtedly catch up on this later. The third place winner is Hussein Musa. Hussein is a senior economics and applied mathematics student, an accomplished scholar, and a student leader. He's also a senior editor for the student newspaper Outlook and a student representative in the USFC for the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. Every year I tell the students at the USFC that this is the course that the Dean of Students and I teach. And we teach, but we also learn from you. His win today is not his first. He was also among the top 3 winners in last year's essay contest. Hussain's essay this year, titled AUB, Transcending, casts light on the opportunities of coexistence, inclusivity, and diversity offered at AUB, and the way this institution transcends the shackles to reaching one's full potential and accessing true liberal education on the voyage to self-transformation. Hussain, please come to the stage. Second place goes to Rudy Zelzel. Rudy is a biology student on the pre-medical track. He's a president of the Pre-Medical Student Society, a varsity tennis player, editor and staff writer at Watchdogs Gazette, and an undergraduate researcher and research coordinator at a cognitive science laboratory in California. In his essay titled, "Words Take It to Heart That They May Have Life and Have It More Abundantly," Rudy links the Bertus thread of AUB's updated brand identity, the soil of his grandfather's land in the Beqa, and its quote-unquote services to the ecosystem, its successes against a concatenation of crises, and the empowerment it gives to all forms of life. Rudy, please come up. Our first place winner is Fadi Salahuddin. Fadi is a MEPI. It's a MEPI, Middle East Partnership Initiative, Tomorrow's Leader scholar from Syria. He's in his senior year studying psychology and business administration. He was recently offered the Imagine Fellowship Award to pursue graduate studies at HEC Paris, École des Hautes Études Commerciales, as an outstanding student who will act as a business and peace ambassador on the HEC campus. His work was recently published at Edinburgh University among a group of researchers from AUB, Edinburgh, and Makerere University on refugees' access to higher education. His inspiring essay shows the fulcrum whereby AUB can help tilt the advantage for higher education for those less fortunate. Fadi will now come, read us this year's winning essay, and then receive his award. Fadi, come on.
Thank you, President Khouri. Good afternoon. My name is Fadi, and I'm going to be reading my essay, Where Free Minds Flourish. Imagine this with me. A young person with rising dreams and aspirations, raw potential, untapped talents, and a fervor for life. An unquenchable appetite for education and learning, much beyond the firm bounds of a war-torn country. An abysmal reality. Yet, an unwavering drive to fulfill this appetite, despite the war, despite the safety concerns going to school, and despite all the systematic injustices that I cannot start to count. A young person who wants to use education as a force to change this abysmal reality. This is my story. I grew up in Syria and joined AUB in 2019 to pursue my undergraduate studies as a recipient of the MEPI Tomorrow's Leaders Scholarship Program. This scholarship and this institution have simply changed my life and forged who I am today. I got the chance to access a world-class education, to grow in a nurturing environment, and continuously receive the tools I need to learn and expand my capacities. This sounds amazing, doesn't it? But this is not all. The most valuable gift that this institution has given me is more deeply engraved than transferable skills, theoretical and technical knowledge, and an employable profile. First, AUB has liberated me. By being an oasis where in the middle of a turbulent and increasingly oppressive reality, I can freely express all aspects of my identity, thoughts, and ideas. The worst thing growing up in a war-torn country is the oppressive nature of war that eats away at your capacity to express yourself freely. Second, AUB has continuously demonstrated that education can truly be used as a transformative force for affecting change in our community. I believe these two gifts are what uniquely distinguishes this institution and the most essential qualities and practices that AUB must persist on adhering to and pursuing for generations to come. AUB's commitment to freedom of thought and expression has been at the forefront and at the heart of this institution's legacy since its founding. This commitment is more needed now than ever, in a reality when we are faced with a plurality of truths and at the same time with ferocious forces that attempt to silence the voices that differ. The need for an educational institution that not only educates, but also liberates becomes increasingly more pressing. In a time when people like Shireen Abu Akleh, Salman Rushdie, and activists all over the world are being silenced with brute force, we need more free minds and liberated intellectuals to challenge the status quo. AUB is where these free minds can flourish. As we live in a region battling against the diseases of totalitarianism, colonialism, and the turbulent economic, social, and political environment, we need to claim ownership over our personhood and thoughts, and we need a space to express them urgently. AUB has been a space to do this, to give voice and power to the indigenous peoples of the region, and to foster a healthy dialogue amongst us. As we graduate from AUB, we carry the value and ability to accept the other and seek hearing their point of view. With the mass spread of false information and social media algorithms that feed us with what we want to see and show us what we want to see, the only way to reflect on our biases as we embark on our journey to be leaders, decision makers, and innovators is to reflect on these biases. I will not elaborate on this point further, but I would like to highlight why nurturing freedom of thought and expression is particularly important for us as students. Freedom is a dynamic and an open-ended concept, a metaphor of the limitlessness of human aspiration. In academia, we needed to challenge and push the boundaries of our existing knowledge. At AUB, I learned to tell my professors I disagree, not for the sake of disagreeing, but to express an idea or challenge a notion, and my disagreement was always welcome and encouraged. This is a privilege I am certain that most of the Arab youth do not have access to. Consequently, it's a precious responsibility. This capacity for accepting the opposite other is only a manifestation of an institution-wide value. This is a strength that AUB needs to build on. Facing the rising of cancel culture, groupthink, and an abrasive hostility towards the other, it is the only way to prepare the next generation of leaders who are then courageous and empowered to say, I disagree, and push against the mainstream, create innovative solutions, and dare to transform. Furthermore, as a young scholar who aspires to be a researcher in social psychology myself, I believe AUB has a great responsibility today more than ever to produce relevant research. Research, at the core, is a manifestation of freedom of thought. It is our chance to have a claim to modernity and knowledge. We need to produce research that is representative of our community and that speaks to global challenges and global needs. In the age of rapid technological advances and globalization, I have seen glimpses of this in the work of the Isam Faris Institute, the Asfari Institute, and the Center for Civic Engagement and Community Service that have done phenomenal work to utilize academia to serve our silently suffering community. However, we still have a long way to go, and AUB stands a beacon of hope guiding these efforts. This leads me to the second gift that AUB has given me, and the practice that constitutes a pillar of this institution's mission, which is the use of education as a transformative tool to serve the communities of the region. Throughout my years at AUB, I continuously worked with the Center for Civic Engagement and Community Service, where most of my informal learning took place. The recent performance indicators highlight that since 2015, more than 13,000 students engaged in volunteering opportunities and community service internships. 13,000, a phenomenal number and a testimony to the drive and commitment of our student body to be a force of change. Encouraging active civic engagement and integrating it in our curriculum is an important feat that AUB needs to continue supporting for multiple reasons. First and foremost, because we owe it to our community. And it is our responsibility to use our knowledge, skills, and talents to serve this community. Second, civic engagement educates learners for uncertainty and resilience by harnessing important skills and attributes like communication, collaboration, problem solving, innovation, critical thinking, adaptability, civic responsibility, and the list goes on. All of which are much needed to embark on our journeys in an increasingly uncertain future. AUB has been a force of change and liberation and has served and continues to serve the peoples of the region. Now, the responsibility is even greater to include the different community members, especially those who cannot afford an AUB education, and to nurture freedom and plant the seeds of civic responsibility. As higher education becomes more global, we need to go back to these values so we can stand authentically and courageously in the face of conformity, raising global challenges and local conflicts, and never lose sight of our community needs. Achieving AUB's mission is a continuous and a collaborative effort, and the responsibility to have life and have it sustainably more abundantly. Thank you very much.
I didn't even have to ask you to thank them, but congratulations to our wonderful essay winners. And thanks to all who took the time to share with us their thoughts on this important subject. Please give them another round of applause. They've earned it. Today, I'm going to take you back some 60 years, just to look at how history is critical to understand, to seize, and to build on. After the failed Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba, President John F. Kennedy quoted an old saying, "Victory has 100 fathers and defeat is an orphan." Yet all biological creatures have parents, whether they meet with success or failure. Similarly, the birth of a concept, a program, or indeed a university, all have their lessons and their founders, the equivalent of parents who seek to impart the breadth and depth of their lives' experiences, hopes, and aspirations, and then imprint them onto their offsprings and creations. Many of us as parents have felt the resistance of those offsprings and creations, which is normal. However, we fully intend for the American University of Beirut Mediterraneo to be a sustainable and impactful institution, a vital arm of the mothership that will one day become a full sibling. Its success, like that of the original Syrian Protestant college, will come down to many, but the principal founders are already clear. Among them are the mayor of the district of Paphos, Fedon Fedonos, Senior Vice President Imad Balbaki, Provost Zahir Dawi, and Executive Director of AUB Mediterraneo, Wasim El-Hajj, among many. Fedon Fedonos is a remarkable leader, an anti-corruption crusader, an advocate for accountability, transparency, and responsibility, a champion for a better tomorrow for all, a man determined to leave his imprint in such a way that future generations will have hope and indeed have life and have it more abundantly. Fedon is a man who truly believes, and now I'm going to go back to 1964, as 1964's US Republican presidential candidate Barry Goldwater so memorably stated, that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. Extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice was a slogan that the winning presidential candidate, President Lyndon Johnson, used to create the most memorable and infamous image of any presidential campaign, a young girl playing with daisies with a mushroom cloud arising behind her. What he was trying to say is that all kinds of extremism can lead to nuclear catastrophe. This is not the extremism that Mayor Fedon believes in. Quite the opposite. What Mayor Fedon has preached his entire adult life is an effort where no measure is spared in the pursuit of excellence for the greater good. There is no place in his world for those who fail to carry out their duty faithfully, honestly, and with great purpose. He's a pragmatic idealist, but one who we've found suffers no fools, dissemblers, or laggards. This is the kind of ethos that our student speakers were talking about, a passionate pursuit of a shared truth and a shared destiny. However, please make no mistake, the greater good our mayor seeks is not only for his native Paphos or for Cyprus, but for the people of the Eastern Mediterranean, the cradle of much of Western civilization for the last 2,500 years. That good, you will hear, is contingent on an open, outstanding education that helps us overcome fear of the others, so predominant today in this region, but also one that's focused on creativity, integrity, and an unalloyed pursuit of the ultimate truths, the opposite of that poisonous 1964 presidential campaign, the opposite of the extremism that has been leveraged by extremists, not only in the region, but extremists in the United States to attack this institution and its mission. We will endure, and so will the cause of truth and excellence for the greater good. Mr. Mayor, my friend Fedon, the floor is now yours. Thank you.
Good morning. Surely a mayor or any politician would never logically find themselves on such a stage and on such a day. But sometimes emotion beats faster in the chest. I am a man of such a disposition. This is what gave me strength to appear before you today adding my voice to a prominent house of higher education. I am here to share thoughts, hopes, and way forward to a better future for the people of our homeland, the Eastern Mediterranean. Honorable President of the American University of Beirut, dear member of Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. It carries a special honor for me to stand before you on this stage and deliver a speech on the day you celebrate the establishment of such a historical educational foundation. There is an even greater sense of responsibility as the American University of Beirut has successfully marked an amazing milestone, 156 years of excellence. Without a doubt, this is an event of important educational significance of the entire region. In my hometown, the first university was founded in 1991, and ever since we have strongly experienced the positive outcomes and interaction of a university education. I can't imagine what this region must have gained during the historical existence of this university. Lebanon would never have been such a place of academic excellence if not for the American University of Beirut. You made the country better, and that's no exaggeration. I have twice said, your university, referring to the past. From now on, I will dare to declare it our university. It is now the University of Cyprus too, the University of Paphos, the city which I have the honor of being a part of, the first among equals. We have cherished our new educational gem. It has been met with enthusiasm and hearts filled with love, a love growing each day. There would really be no other option but to respond in such a positive manner. The centuries-old reputation of the American University of Beirut is a testament in itself, as of course are the many Cypriot graduates who went on to earn influential position and became prominent and progressive member of society. From the moment we first contacted President Huri and the relevant Cyprus authorities, we were met with open doors and great willingness to push this project forward. We have enjoyed the undivided support of President Anastasiadis, ministers and general director of government departments. They were all quickly won over by this amazing prospect, the AUB quality and level of performance. I could go on about where we stand now on the establishment procedure in Cyprus, but we are only set off on this long journey. A few decades from now, we shall still be footnotes in the face of the glorious history recorded by AUB. Let's ponder on that, the future. I am here to speak with hope of the great things that lie in wait, the endless prospects, the big picture. Our history has sadly always been turbulent. The people of the Eastern Mediterranean have faced rough seas along the way, war, conflict, suffering, being made refugees, social inequality. Much of this pain remains with us, and more is added all the time. Together, we must find the way out of the labyrinth, seek the road to unity, prosperity, a common cause of growing and creating as one force. There is no magic recipe, as politicians often love to say. Well, it is true, but peace and well-being are achievable. We must never lose sight of these values. They carry precious meaning and content. The foundation of my speech is the inseparable relationship of education with peace, democracy, and prosperity, a relationship which runs through the entire course of civilized humanity. Through education, people achieve qualification and skills, cultivate virtues, and carry forward values and ideals for life. In this way, societies develop, progress, and enrich themselves both morally and materially, as long as certain factors are in the right place. Education, peace, and prosperity are interconnected and driving concepts of history, strengthening each other as they share a collective experience. I am not usually didactic. You are the last that need it anyway. But really, do think about it. Can there be real peace and prosperity without education? Or real academic value outside peace? Ever since humans organized themselves into society, education has played a catalytic role in its evolution and progress. Education refines character and delivers knowledge, but also creates new knowledge, so that those who achieve it are better placed to create and prosper in their lives. Peace gives way to war and conflict when ethnic, religious, cultural, and social differences cannot be reconciled and people clash to impose themselves on others. Fighting can also break out in times of financial hardship as societies battle to survive. Education, and indeed university-level education, can help entire society to better understand each other and to realize, for example, that the three monotheistic religions of our wider region, one of the cradles of this development, indeed have common reference and values. On many occasions, a close study of religious texts even reveals identical passages. It is so amazing to grasp. Education helps people understand what they have in common shared value. Here and now, passionate and committed, we must collectively promote university education throughout our region, provide the opportunity for such high-level achievement, open the doors to everyone. If we can only manage to raise access to university in our region by 15% in the coming years and promote excellence through high-level education in the production chain of innovation and entrepreneurship, then we shall indeed forge strong foundation of peace and prosperity. I will utilize this historic setting to share the idea of Arab, Greek, and American cultural cooperation on the island of Cyprus, the European Union's outmost frontier in the Eastern Mediterranean. So, here goes. We, Greeks and Arabs, must collectively bring our cultural to the fore through a modern narrative showing what we gave to the world and pursued people that this capital, this historical reserve can contribute towards creating conditions of peace and prosperity in the region. We must share the courage, we must look outwards and look to follow in the footsteps of the enlightened American leaders in the 18th and 19th centuries. Those with the wisdom to promote quality higher education as a national vision, a social provision. As such, the education we seek to provide must be channeled with the principle of democracy, equality, social justice, and liberalism. Despite strong criticism of the United States in our region, they can lend a powerful hand because of their long-standing successful educational system, their universities that have climbed to the highest reaches of the excellence, model of academic and research quality. We can all think to prominent examples. AUB, American University of Beirut, must lead this effort. I firmly believe it will rise to the occasion, and more. AUB can and should be the driving force of this partnership. As a Greek, as young European politician from EU member state, I see this university as representing a real hope for a new era of peace, development, and prosperity in the Eastern Mediterranean. The Eastern Mediterranean is inhabited by peoples with a very strong imprint on world history. Mesopotamian, Egyptian, Greek, and Arab civilization are only but a few shining examples. All three monotheistic religions, we are born here in our region. We are known as the people of the book. As fate will have it, we are also at the crossroad of three continents. Some have called this a historical curse, a punishment, simply a bad deal. But look at how many achievements we share in such a small area of the world. We have to admit that the extent and burden of the spiritual, cultural, and religious goods that this region has is enormous, to the point that we cannot manage them alone. I am convinced there is a recipe. That word again, education, education, education. We must highlight our great wealth and make it an asset for everyone. Let's all take the time to seek knowledge of the spiritual wealth and achievement of our neighboring peoples. If we promote education as the dominant narrative for the coming decades, then this region will certainly succeed. Foreign interest, those who benefit from our region remaining divided and lost in the hatred of war and conflict, cannot stand in the way if we work hard to educate our people. Our intellectual wealth is vast, our roots run deep, and our culture have made an enormous contribution to world history far beyond any other. This strength must be turned into advantage. It is only possible through the greatest weapon of all, education. This is why, facing you on this historic performance, I call on AUB to lead a long-term effort. By 2050, the region must rise to the highest ranks of university education. This achievement, combined with the incredible strength of our cultural heritage, can lift the Eastern Mediterranean to new heights, to a region of peace, of prosperity, of beacon of values and spiritual achievement, as it once was. We owe it to ourselves. We have inherited the Mesopotamian, Egyptian civilization, Greek civilization, and the Arab civilization. We were born to succeed. We are the land that gave birth of the three monotheistic religions, our history and civilization are a call to a glorious past, education, knowledge, and spirit. Dear President Huri, ladies and gentlemen, the Greeks of Cyprus, descendants of the rich cultural tradition of Hellenism, painfully realized the relationship of education with peace and prosperity through the bitter experience of the island's modern history. We paid a heavy price in 1974, falling victim to gold geopolitical interest with international law and ethics going down the drain. Without being idealistic or romantic, I am convinced that education can act as a catalyst to lasting peace and prosperity in the Eastern Mediterranean. We must take our future into our hands, creating and passing on advanced knowledge. Our university must become peace-enforcing and prosperity-creating forces. Let's abandon the false hope that outsiders can provide solutions on our behalf. They don't know better. We must build on the hope and future we create ourselves here. We are the ones who understand what we stand for. They must pursue the process of education through high-quality university across the region. On a personal note, I am proud to lead what might be a small city, but with a great history lost in antiquities, far beyond the boundary of its modernity. As such, I was honored to promote and implement the decision to establish the American University of Beirut Mediterraneo in Paphos. This pride is coupled with great joy. I had the fortune and honor of sharing ideas and vision with a truly charismatic academic, a liberal Democrat with an amazing fighting spirit, a true intellectual of rare quality, Fatlo Huri. I send out my love and gratitude to you. Your great contribution for the realization of a common vision. It will bear the fruit that will spread the seeds of peace and prosperity in the Eastern Mediterranean. We need them now more than ever. In making this remarkable milestone, I share this belief with you. By joining forces, by sharing our knowledge and capabilities, we pave the road to long-term prosperity, peace and progress unto you. All the best for American University of Beirut. Here's to the next century and a half. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Please thank the mayor for his inspiring speech. Please stay standing for the playing of the alma mater.